In this video, folks, we're going to have a look at what we think are essential items for your camper van or your motorhome. So we have previously done a camper van's essentials video, which was put on YouTube on the 1st of February this year. It's been a very popular video, still getting lots of views, and it's driving lots of comments. Thank you very much if you watched that already. What we thought we'd do is, now that we've used our motorhome for quite a while, been out on a few trips, we've obviously learnt that we needed to acquire even more stuff and even more expense purchasing that even more stuff. So what we hope to do in this video is, whether you're interested in buying a camper van or buying a motorhome, is that we're going to show you the items that we use in our motorhome, and we're going to include the ones, of course, that we used in the camper van. Now, most of the items that we had for our camper van, thankfully for our bank account, were able to come across to the motorhome. So it's not like we had to start again. But of course, buying the motorhome meant that there was additional items that we kind of knew we would need. And again, it was additional expenditure to get them. So we're going to try and do this video in a bit of a logical order. And I'm going to place an index underneath the video for those of you that are watching on a device that you can see the description of the video, where you can click to each section rather than having to watch the whole video if you don't want to put up with looking at both of us for the next 20-25 minutes. And we've got a list because we're trying to make sure we get this right. My wife is here not just for supplying coffee, but to give me some moral support. And if I get something wrong, I'll probably get a kick under the table. You won't see it, but I will feel it. You ready?
Yeah.
Good. So many of the items I will literally hold up to camera, because although you can't see it, they're stacked all around our motorhome as we sit. Others we will just put some video in as I'm talking, just to show what we're discussing. So shall we start with the garage then?
Garage first. And
we're going to tick these off as we go down them, folks. So the first obvious thing is the hookup cable. Now, when we had the camper van, we purchased a starter kit. And that starter kit included a 10-metre hookup cable. I was naive to camper vanning at that time, never done it before. And 10 metres sounded good enough. We quickly realised that 10 metres is not good enough. No. And you can almost never have enough extension cable, because sometimes you'll be parking your camper van or motorhome a lot further away from the electric hookup than maybe you thought you would be doing. Yeah. And therefore a 10-metre cable just isn't enough. So we would always recommend a 25-metre cable and a cable tidy to look after that 25-metre cable. I'm now going to show you what 25 metres of cable looks like. So it's quite heavy. That's 25 metre of cable, and it's on, or should I say it's wrapped around, a cable tidy, which just makes it a whole lot easier for reeling it out and reeling it in. So I would definitely recommend 25. Now, the other thing I would say, and there's links to all the products we're going to be showing you today underneath the video, folks. I will keep saying that just because it hopefully makes it easier for you to find the products that we're showing. And we also get a very small commission if you happen to purchase through the link, but you're not obliged to do so. What I was going to say about the case. So the cable, not all cables are created equal. And there is a thickness that's required for the individual core that I think is meant to be 2.5mm. And I know some of them are manufactured only 1.5mm. My understanding is it is recommended for caravans, camper vans and motorhomes that you use a core of 2.5mm. If I've got that wrong, I'll be placing the correction just there in the bottom of the video. But hopefully I'm correct in saying it needs to be 2.5mm. So the products that we're showing you today are, in our opinion, correct for what you need to use, or correct for what you need to use them for. We use them ourselves and we're satisfied with them. And I think for me that's the important bit. If we've got something, folks, and for whatever reason we're not satisfied with it, we certainly wouldn't be putting it in this video. What we probably would do is at some point put it in another video and complain about it. So everything that we show you today, we are satisfied that it's a good quality product. and we've decided that we need it.
Yes.
For motorhoming. So that's the cable. And my wife's ticked it off already. So what happens, of course, if you're away in Europe and you've got a different style socket? Well, of course, what you need is an EU converter. So all that does is, one end obviously fits on the 25 metre cable, and the other end can fit into the European socket. Although I haven't got it with me at the minute, but I'll put a little photo in the video now to show you, we also have a 240 volt plug version of this, and we've used it quite a lot.
We have. Because
if we go to stay at friends and family, and we have already used our motorhome to stay with friends and family, although we don't have to hook up to their electric, the van has got solar panel, it's self-sufficient, it's nice to plug into some free electric. And it's always nice having that discussion with your friends or family as to how little electric it's going to use, and that it won't dim the lights when we put the TV on. But joking aside, if you intend to use the van parked outside someone else's house, you do need a 240 volt converter. Yeah. Next thing, of course, is hose. Because with the camper van or the motorhome, you're going to have a fresh water tank. Now, our Camper King van had a humble 20 litre water tank. Our motorhome has a 100 litre water tank. So I'm not going to be filling it up with little jugs of water. So what we purchased is what's called a food grade flat hose. Now, we actually purchased 2 of these. Now, the reason we purchased 2 is I frantically look
should be there somewhere
for a piece that I did get. Yeah, it is. The reason we purchased 2 of these is twofold. One, it means that it gives us 20 metres of hose, because again, you never know whether you need more hose. I think these are 10 metres each, but if they're not, I'll put the correction again in the bottom of the video. What I also like about it is they come with a connector, obviously, to allow you to connect the 2 hoses together. And they also come with a standard type end nozzle, I guess, if you wanted to use it to wash the van or whatever. So, very useful. There's a lot of people I know, I read lots of comments, I watch lots of videos, I'm on lots of motorhome Facebook forums. There's a lot of people that say they've never used a food grade hose, they've never been unwell, they've never tasted anything, and that's great. Personally for us, we wanted to have the food grade hose because it's meant for this purpose, and if nothing else, it's meant to stop the taint of anything from a standard hose, I guess. So we would always recommend a food grade hose.
I've done that bit.
Maybe tick that up. Yeah.
I've ticked that already.
Fran's good, isn't she?
Yeah, we're on the Truma gas level.
Everyone should have a Fran in their life. So, the next one is, now, some will say that this is a bit of overkill. And certainly for the camper van, we didn't bother, because the camper van had a modest sized propane gas, because of course the demand on the gas in the camper van is a lot less than the demand on the gas in our motorhome. Yeah. The motorhome's obviously powering the central heating, but the gas can also power the fridge, etc, etc. So we wanted to obviously know how much gas is left in the can. Yeah. I'm sure people have different ideas of how they can do it, and maybe even just by tapping it they can tell. I can't, and I wanted to know exactly how much was in the can. So you can, of course, have a gauge fitted to the top of the gas can. Our motorhome's got 2 gas cans, and I just I wasn't interested in the gauge, to be quite honest. I like gadgets. So what this is a gadget, and I'll splice in a little bit of footage of me actually using it, but in effect it's a torch. But more importantly, if you press it against the can like so, it will beep, and it will either show, you'll see in the footage now, red because obviously there's no gas at that level, or green because there's gas at that level. Now, I'm going to admit, folks, this is not a cheap piece of kit.
No.
To be fair, it's an excellent piece of kit,
yep,
but it's an expensive piece of kit. So you pay your money, you take your choice. I love gadgets, and I like to know how much gas is left in the van. So for me, I personally am happy to have that.
And on travels, on Euro tunnel, you have to have a 85% level of gas in your tank, or you're not allowed to go underground.
You're not allowed to have more than 85% gas.
That's the one.
Yeah. So don't worry if you haven't exactly got 85% gas in the van. But yes, as far as I'm aware, it's a good point. As far as I'm aware, the cans aren't ever filled more than 85% anyway. But allegedly, we are yet to go on Eurotunnel because we've had to cancel holidays due to the virus. Twice now. But we will be going, of course, as soon as we can. Allegedly, you are meant to be able to show the amount of gas that's in the van before you travel on Eurotunnel. We'll cover that when we actually finally get the van on a Eurotunnel train. What next?
Spanner.
Spanner. I am one. So, obviously, with a gas canister, you need to be able to unhook it. So you need one of these. I can't make a discussion about a spanner last 2 minutes. Not even I can make a discussion last 2 minutes for a spanner. It's a spanner. It does the job. There's a link in the description below, folks, if you would like to purchase said spanner. But you can't have this actual one because I like it and we're using it ourselves. What next?
We're on the Hitchman Wastemaster.
The Hitchman Wastemaster. Right, so this wasn't needed for the camper van. With our 100 litre freshwater tank in the motor, and we also have a 100 litre grey water waste tank under the van. Now, the reason we've got the Wastemaster, and we bought what they call the economy version, which basically means it's slightly thinner plastic and has a less guarantee on it, but ultimately otherwise it's the same item, it looks the same, it does the same job, is it holds, I think, 37 litres of grey water waste. Now, some people with a motorhome hook up a pipe that runs from the outlet all the way to a drain on a fully serviced pitch. Yeah. It's a great idea, and I'm not suggesting that we'll never do it at some point in the future.
We just haven't done it yet.
Well, on the roller team van that we have, unfortunately, the outlet pipe is in the middle of the van. So as I'll show you on a little bit of footage now as I talk, it's a faff. And you have to be sort of, I'm trying to think of the word when you're good with guns. What is it? You have to be an accurate shot, should I say, at getting it in the right place for when the water comes out the tank. And of course, the more full the tank is, the more pressure the water comes out. And the more pressure that the water comes out, the further it comes out the spout. So it's a bit of a game trying to work out exactly where it goes. But anyway, it's basically for carting grey water waste from the van to whatever drain there is on the site that you're on. I think that covers that one, doesn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Good. The next one is for our van. Now, we had an internal screen cover on our camper van. It's quite a standard item. Was nothing special. It did the job, but it did mean you got condensation on the window. We didn't find it too bad. But for the motorhome, we bought a outside fitted windscreen cover. It's an absolute excellent product. I have read a number of reviews for the make that we chose, and it's mentioned so many times on the different motorhome forums. I'll cut to the chase. It's made by a company called Taylormade, which is in the UK. I'll put a link for the website below. It's just an absolute quality product. I have read many posts where they've used the same item for many years with obviously all the different heat, storms, etc. and it's still going strong. So we couldn't recommend the Taylormade product enough. We should have done with the electric, but we'll do it now. A simple, and you've probably got one of these at home anyway, folks. A simple, we've chose a 5 metre 2-gang extension cable. Why? Because obviously there is a limit to how many 240 volt sockets there are in your vehicle. In this particular van, there are 3 dotted about, which is quite a modest number. You tend to find that you may want to plug something in that's nowhere near the socket and the lead's not long enough. So that alone means that you need an extension anyway. And I think just by having a 2-gang cable, it just gives you 1 extra socket in the van.
Yeah.
So yes, quite basic. Yes, I'm sure you've already got one in the house. But we certainly are happy to make sure that we've got one in the van at all times. We're getting through these hopefully at a rate of knots, folks. We're probably at about 12-14 minutes at the minute. So the next 2 we haven't got yet, but I'm going to put pictures in of what we will be buying. And again, the links are in the description below. They are basically ramps and a spirit level. So the ramps, of course, and you may need this for a camper van and certainly with a motorhome. Sometimes where you park, the vehicle may not be level enough.
Yeah.
And for some of the items that you use in the van, they can become a little unhappy if the level of the van is not that good. Now, I'll be honest with you, at the minute, we've got away with it. But of course, we might not always get away with it. So I'll put a link in the description below for the ramps that we will be purchasing and the spirit level that you can use to make sure that it's level. I'm not going to say any more about ramps and spirit levels. So that's it for the garage section, and I'm just going to repeat, folks, in the description we'll have these in subcategories and exact times for each item we'll probably put underneath the video. So if you want to jump to a specific section, we'll make it easy for you to do so. You can't do it if you're viewing this video on a TV, but certainly if you're watching it on a tablet or a phone or a laptop, of course, then you'll be able to jump straight to whichever section. We need to press on.
Yes. Let's get this done.
Let's get it done. I'm going to have a sip of coffee first, though, folks. My wife makes a lovely cup of coffee. My wife has many uses, but one's certainly coffee. So, we've called this section the leisure section. So in the leisure section then, not a lot to say. We have a camper folding table. Now, bigger tables are available.
Absolutely.
But we decided, particularly as we chose a sub 6 metre van, everything you buy, you have to consider space. Although,
yes,
to be quite honest, no matter what size van you have, there's always going to be some kind of compromise. So for us, we bought a little diddy table, which does the job.
Yeah.
It does no more, no less. Very simple, but it's good quality product. And we're happy with it. Along with that, we've got a camper 2-seater. Yeah. Because we sometimes like to sit together. And we've also got 2 single chairs. Now, again, very happy with these chairs. They were a particularly good price when we purchased them. As far as the links are concerned for the chairs, we've only been able to find a link for the double seat one,
yes,
haven't we?
Absolutely.
But you get the idea. You're going to want to be able to sit outside of the van, so you need chairs. You don't need to have the chairs that we've got, but we would certainly recommend that you have absolutely chairs of some description. And then TV. Now, when you go away camping in your camper van or motorhome, I know there's quite a few people that would be like, I don't want to watch TV. We're trying to leave all that flippery at home. And I understand that. I'm going to caveat it with a little excuse. We have 2 kids. And those 2 kids and me like to watch a bit of telly. So I think when we've been out on the night and we come back to the van, it's just nice to put the TV on. Now, the TV that we've got in our motorhome is the same TV we purchased for the camper van, and that's the excuse that I'm using for the fact that it's only a 16-inch TV. I am sure many people with motorhomes, particularly bigger motorhomes, have at least 22, 24-inch TVs. Now, I do love tech, as I've already said in this video, and at home, I love a big telly, and we have quite a big telly. It's never big enough, though. But I'm quite satisfied with our 16-inch Cello British-made TV.
Yes.
It's probably got foreign components inside it, but it's assembled in the UK. But it's a simple TV. It's got a good, clear picture. Of course, wherever you travel, you have to retune it because ultimately the aerial has moved since the last time you've used it. The only thing I would say is that the sound is weak. So if you like bass or any kind of quality sound, you're not going to get it from the TV. Yeah. And you might want to look for some kind of additional speaker system that we haven't got, so I can't show you, to improve the sound quality. But we like our TV. Link in the description below. So for this TV, particularly because we know we don't always leave it in the van, we thought we'll buy a storage bag. Now, currently using the storage bag just to stop the dust getting at it while it's sitting in situ in the motorhome. Yeah. And we haven't felt the need to remove it from the motorhome. So I guess for us, it serves 2 purposes. It serves as a purpose to protect the TV in situ, or if we needed to take the TV out the van, it gives us a handy carrier bag or carrying bag to take the TV out. That's it for that one, isn't it?
Yep.
So that's it for leisure, folks. Unless we can find some more at the end of this video.
There's always more.
There's always more.
Always.
So the next one is that interesting subject of toilets and cleaning. So again, obviously with the camper van, we had a porta potty, and the products we'll show you, you could use with the porta potty. But there are also products, of course, that we use with the motorhome. So we'll start with the main one, and what I think is the best one. And we have it just here. So this is Thetford. Obviously the toilet's made by Thetford. It's a big company. The toilets are fitted to almost all the caravans, campervans and motorhomes. And it's Aqua Blue. Now if you're watching this, folks, and you've already got a campervan or motorhome, this is going to be boring. I do apologise. Fast forward. I find personally that the blue is the best.
Yes. We've
found if you think that there's 4 of us, we probably need to empty the toilet cassette. We won't go into any more detail than that. Although I will do a future video on how that works. We probably need to empty it every 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fine. This product will last easily the 2 to 3 days, and it keeps a nice sweet smell. Although my wife ironically can't smell, so she wouldn't know the difference, but it's got a sweet smell, and I love this product. Unfortunately, what this product is not so environmentally friendly. So some campsites, and the one that we stayed at in North Wales, video to come of that place,
yes.
Lovely place in North Wales.
Very nice.
They operated a septic tank system, and as part of the process of a septic tank, the chemicals in the Aqua Blue would destroy that chemical action.
The enzymes.
The enzymes.
Kills off the enzymes that break down what goes in there.
It's not good for the septic tank. The bugs don't like it. So what they will tell you that you need to use, now I have to say, for the place that we went to, no one was policing this. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say I'm not convinced everybody does it, but we like to do it right.
Yeah.
Aqua Green. So this product, I guess the proof is in the name, will not affect the septic tank. And we've used that instead. Some people actually prefer this anyway. I don't think there's a particular price difference.
No.
Personally for us, I don't think this is as strong as the blue. Now it might be psychological, but I am convinced that the blue lasts longer and the smell is sweeter than you get in the green. But there you have it, and you need it for certain sites with certain septic tanks. Yep. And then of course you want to keep your loo clean. Now there is a pink solution that Aquachem do, or Thetford do, should I say, that we haven't got because our toilet doesn't have a separate cistern. No. So the water is just fed from the fresh water straight into the toilet. If you have a separate cistern, then obviously you can put this pink stuff in. We don't have it. So what we use instead is Thetford, unsurprisingly, toilet bowl cleaner. So again, you don't need me to explain how that's used. It's only like bleaching the toilet at the house. The difference is, of course, it's safe to use in your Thetford toilet. So how do we treat the fresh water? And for me, equally important, how often do we treat the fresh water? So as I've said, in the camper van we had a 20-litre water tank, fresh water tank. So it didn't take much of Puriclean, I'll put an image in the video now, to treat the water. And the idea is you add it to a full tank of water. Some people suggest it's good if you drive around with that full tank of water because it just mixes it up even better. But anyway, you put it in, dependent on the level of contamination or how long it's been since the last time, or maybe it's an old system. It's depending on how long you need to leave it in. I certainly would suggest leaving it in at least 2 hours. I'm quite happy to leave it in overnight. But of course, now we've got the motorhome with 100 litres, we need more Puriclean. So our 100-gram pot of Puriclean just doesn't cut it. So the next one we'll be purchasing is a 400-gram pot. Now, how often do we do this? We're going to be doing it every 6 months. So I guess you could say at the height of season in March, April, when hopefully we do more travelling, we will do it. And we'll do it again for winter, for those odd trips that we go to family or hopefully holidays in the winter.
Yep.
But basically it'll be done once every 6 months. And of course, when you use this product, what I would say is you have to once it's been in the system long enough, you have to run it through the taps, the shower, anything where there's a water pipe, of course, just to make sure you get a good amount of it to come through. And then, of course, you have to flush it through. I think it recommends you flush it through once. I have to say, we've flushed it through twice, and I can still tell that there's chemical in the water. We tend to drink water from bottles, but use the water from our tank for everything else.
Yeah.
But again, I've read many people say that they've never had any issues, and I certainly would prefer to use it and treat the tank, because you can imagine what any drops of water left in the tank, you can imagine what that tank is like the next time you come to use it. You may be putting fresh water in, but it certainly won't be fresh water coming out the tap. That covers that one, doesn't it? And then, of course, while we're on the subject of pipes, etc., a product that we are about to purchase is something called, I'm going to read this out, Fenwicks Pipe and Tank Cleaner. I'm hoping it does exactly what it says on the bottle. I'm guessing that you pour it down the drains and it will remove that horrible smell, and obviously the causes of that horrible smell, that you will get if you leave your van for any period of time, even with the tanks drained down.
Yeah.
So we would definitely recommend that. And then the last thing, which we didn't need for the camper van with the porta potty, but you do need it for the motorhome or a camper van that's got a Thetford cassette toilet, is it's a spray lubricant. Again, it's made by Thetford, unsurprisingly. And the idea is every so often you service the seal, the rubber seal, and therefore the latch or the flap that opens, just to keep it all working in good order. We'll cover that as in how that's used in a future video. But for now, I would say you certainly need to have that item. We will probably service it every time we have a bit of downtime, so we'll probably service it every 6 months. So it's not something that you're going to be doing every day, but we thought it'd be best to try and prolong the life of the system.
Yeah.
We've done a page, folks. We've done a page.
Just another 3 to go.
It's not 3 to go. My wife is prone to exaggeration, folks, which sometimes can work in my favour. So, the next one is kitchen. God, there's some stuff for the kitchen. And again, there might be a few of these items that you decide to bring from your own kitchen. And obviously, if you bring those items from home, that's absolutely great. We try to have as many items as possible, specifically for the van.
Yes.
That's just because of how we are. So the first thing we've got on the list is something called a food thermometer. We do keep a digital food thermometer. I'll put an image in the video now because it's currently at home. So there's a hypocrite there straight away.
Yeah.
Because of course you just want to check that everything's cooked through. Yeah. There's no specific reason why some food being cooked in the motorhome is going to be less cooked than at the home, but it's just nice to have it in the van. Now, some of the funky items that I really like, and I enjoyed these on the video that we did for the camper van essentials. Yes. So one of the things I absolutely loved that we bought for our camper van, and of course we moved it across to the motorhome, is in the UK we love a good cup of tea. So of course for a good cup of tea I need a kettle. So we have a couple of kettles. We have an electric one and obviously one for the gas hob. Now of course in a camper van and motorhome spaces are limited. You're always looking for extra space.
Oh yes. So
what these do of course is they fold, and they are absolutely splendid. We're going to do a little pop off now to see who can make them pop the fastest. You ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Oh. I think mine was a bit easier, to be fair. But basically these kettles easily hold enough water for 2 cups of tea, or coffee if you prefer. They're absolutely excellent. Yeah. I can't fault them. Now obviously there is a wattage restriction to the electric kettle, and it's probably a good time to mention in this video that everything that we show you that's electrical has been purchased with the motorhome in mind. And what I mean by that is, depending on what site you're on, and therefore whatever electric hookup you're on, there's a limit to what wattage that you can consume before you trip the trips, basically. So I'm going to put in the bottom of the video now what that means in English, but basically it means depending on the amps that's available is depending on what the wattage is available. So what you can't be doing is just hauling everything that you use from home that may consume loads of wattage and plugging them all on at the same time. everything that we show you will not do that, and you'll be absolutely fine. So anyway, collapsible kettles. Mine's done.
Mine doesn't want to play ball.
I love watching the wife struggle.
Get in.
There you go.
Done it. Oh, put top in. There we go.
Right, so that was easy. Good. So the next thing, while my wife finishes with the kettle, is a toaster. One viewer, only one, I won't mention names, said, why do you need a toaster?
You know who you are.
Because we've got, each to their own, because we've got something else that we're going to show you in a minute that you could also do toast in. Well, two answers to that viewer. Number one, I like my toast done in a toaster. That's just me.
Yeah.
And number two, if I've paid to be at a campsite, I'm on an electric hookup. And that electric hookup is covered by the cost of being on that campsite. So I'm going to use their electric. So again, this toaster, link in the description below, is of a suitable wattage for not tripping any systems.
Yes. Those.
Oh, these are nice. Right, okay. I'm not separating these, and it's going to be a bit of a balancing act.
Da, da, da.
A cooking set. It's a rather splendid cooking set, which has obviously already been used. But again, because it all fits into each other, it occupies a lot less space. Now, the link in the description below, folks, actually shows the improved version of this that now comes with a colander.
Colander. You need a colander.
So we got stitched there. But if you choose to use the link below, you'll get a nice set that includes a colander.
And the reason we use it with the handles is because your cooker top is quite close to the side where the bathroom is, and you're not going to have handles hanging over where you can knock them.
No, it's deliberately for as little space as possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you do order one, folks, you'll get one with a lovely colander, and we will not be jealous.
Not much.
Next, a cutlery set.
There you go.
We bought a cutlery set for one. No, not really. So obviously these came in a set of 4. And again, there's a link in the description below. It's a cutlery set. I'm not going to say any more about it. No. It's what you need because you're going to be eating in the van. And of course, with the cutlery set, folks, you need plates and dishes. Now, these particular ones are made by...
Bruno? Bruma.
They're not Bruno, but to be fair to Fran, she's reminding me, I think they're Brunner. So Brunner or whatever.
Yeah.
They're a good quality product. Again, the link is in the description below, but what we like is the ones that we chose has got a anti-slip pad at the bottom, which is really useful. Oh. Not that we get the children to eat dinner at 70 mile an hour down the motorway, but in general, it's just easier to have something that's anti-slip.
But they don't go in the microwave.
But they don't go in the microwave. Then the next one, and again, you may choose not to have it, or you may have a motorhome that's got it built in, is a microwave. Now, thinking back to what we said about power consumption in a microwave, you've got to be careful which microwave you choose. Now, the one we've got is slightly different to what's in the link at the bottom, because I think ours is now a bit older. It's almost identical. I guess the link takes you to the natural successor to the one that we've got. Ours is a little humble Daewoo unit that was recommended by lots of people that use caravans, campervans, motorhomes. It's 600 watts, but obviously it still doesn't take that long to cook, but it's just better on the electric hookup system.
Yes.
One thing to note though, when you look at the wattage on a microwave, is for the, let's say the one that's on the link underneath this video for 700 watts, it doesn't mean it's using 700 watts, it's outputting 700 watts. It's actually draining from the electric hookup more than the 700 watts. So again, this is why you've got to be a little cautious about what you're trying to plug in when you're on an electric hookup. But we like having the microwave. We just store it under the seats when we're not using it.
Yeah.
Next one is a fire extinguisher and blanket set.
Yes.
Bit of a no-brainer. I'm not going to say any more about it really. You're in a vehicle that's got gas and electric. You need one. We're literally going to leave it at that.
Yes.
Pop-up bowls. What better to go with a green pop-up kettle? Now this is only one. We've got many of these and a bucket.
They are there. They're inside each other.
Yeah, but we've got more of these and a bucket.
Yes.
It's a pop-up bowl.
There's 2 there.
So again, all we got to do,
Other way.
when I do it the correct way, is that.
These are ideal for your salads and stuff like that.
They're just excellent. We use a pop-up bucket, to be honest, in the bathroom just to collect tissues and stuff, but ultimately, space saving, good quality, link in the description below, wouldn't be without them. Now for the Ridge Monkey folks, it's time for a little break with an infomercial.
It's a Ridge Monkey Compact XL. It's plenty big enough for what I need it for. Oh, now let's have a look, shall we? What's inside? Look at that. Those utensils. Ooh. Pop them out like that. Does it come apart? Yes, it does. Slide it across, and you have 2 pans. Now you put the handles on. These are magnetic handles, so you don't lose them. Press in the button and slide it on just like that. Give a good tug. Make sure it doesn't come up. Same with the other side. Press the button down, push it on. Now we're ready for cooking. Yes, it does. I'm going to try and get this on here with one hand. Fiddly back. Slide it right on there. Don't be silly.
I think we're down to the last couple of miscellaneous items now, folks. So one that we definitely wanted for our camper van, and we think it still might serve a purpose in our motorhome, is a simple oil-filled radiator. Now, we love it because it's oil-filled, and what that basically means, of course, is even when it's reached temperature and it's cooling down, there's still heat coming from it. We also find it's very economical, and yes, it wouldn't be able to heat up this van, but it would certainly have a good go at keeping the chill off the van. And we're not to know whether we have a failure of the heating system in this van. If we did, and if we were at an electric hookup site, we would be able to plug this in and at least have some form of heating. So it takes up a bit of space, although ours does fit in the under-sink cupboard in the bathroom. Yeah. In fact, it fits really neatly in the under-sink cupboard in the bathroom. But we think it's a must. So the next one, folks, and I particularly love this, is a Lucy, is that how you pronounce it? Or Lucy, solar panelled inflatable light. Really bright. I'll put a little bit of footage in the video now of it being in use, with my son walking down the dark campsite. And I'm going to ask my lovely wife to blow into it, as they say, and inflate it for us. But it's really simple, and it's just really good. And of course, because it's solar panelled, this could be fun, this. Because it's solar powered, should I say. Okay. Because it's solar powered, it's not costing anything to use. I never thought watching a light being readied for use would be so entertaining.
One breath as well, I did that well.
I would expect you to. And there you have it.
Oh, that's your light.
Different brightnesses, and it also does a flash or off.
Suits you.
And as if by magic, and it seems a waste after getting Fran to blow it up.
You have to squeeze.
You have to squeeze what?
Squeeze it. There you go. Give it a good
squeeze. And then it takes no space. We love these. They're not particularly cheap, but they are cheap, of course, once you've got it, because you're no longer using any batteries or stuff. And we love it. Right, last one. You've done well to get this far. Is a multi-tool, and we found we needed this on the very first day in the camper van. And you've probably got one sitting in a garage or in a shed or in a drawer somewhere. It's a simple but useful multi-tool. I'm not going to show everything that's in there. It's a multi-tool. I think it's got 13 different things in it. But basically,
when you're out and about, there could be something really annoying where a little screwdriver or a set of pliers just might do the job. They certainly were useful in the camper van.
We've used them a couple of times. Can't remember what for though.
It's just nice to have them, isn't it?
In this van, we've used them a couple of times.
So what do you think, folks? There's quite a lot of items. It's quite a lot of cost. It's not a cheap game going in your camper van, caravan or motorhome, that's for sure. We didn't expect it to be a cheap form of holiday, but it's certainly nowhere near a cheap form of holiday.
No, but it gives you more freedom to go where you want to go.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle choice, I guess is what I would say. We genuinely hope that you found this video informative. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And as always, look for a link at the end of the video to subscribe. My wife never remembers where the link is to subscribe. All I can promise you, folks, is it's somewhere on the screen. What I would also ask you to do is, if you think we've missed anything, or if you think there's something that we're going to find that we need, that we should have put in the video, leave it in the comments and we'll take a look at it. And if we like it, we'll buy it and we'll do a review of it in a future video. Thanks for watching.